Everybody, Meinke here from MLive.com. Joe by Atkins, kicking off our 2016 Lions positional reviews with what else, Nate? Quarterback. We'll do one of these videos with each of our previews, asking one big question about the position group with quarterback, with Matthew Stafford. Obviously, has he done enough, Nate, in your mind, to warrant a top-tier quarterback contract this offseason?
I think he has, based on the film and based on what they're going to know about him, having worked with him. You look at him under Jim Bob Cooter, since he got elevated to offensive coordinator, up until he hurt his finger, the numbers were incredible. Whether that was Calvin Johnson or not, he was leading the fourth quarter comebacks. He was managing this team. He was doing everything they wanted in terms of efficiency. And then he hurts his finger, and they don't want to admit that publicly, but I think that really, you see the numbers speak for themselves. That totally changed the way that he played, and that's going to factor into the negotiations as they talk about, here are your numbers, they don't measure up, you don't have the playoff wins, but in their mind, they're going to need to decide if that doesn't work, and we need, because he's going to get his money, if we need to kind of pony up to one of these top-tier contracts, will we? And I think the answer for them needs to be yes.
When it comes to franchise quarterbacks and contracts, it's as simple as this. Every guy who comes up is going to top the last guy. So you have to ask yourself the question, is Matthew Stafford one of those guys? The agents, I talked to a couple agents last year about the deal, and they said, listen, the thing is, he's obviously good enough. He's got the production and everything, but the big question we have is, can he do it without Calvin Johnson? That's the question he has to answer to the Lions in 2016, and if he can do it, then he's going to get a huge deal, because there's just not enough guys who can play the position as well as he can. And obviously we saw that in the first 3 quarters of the season before the injury. I mean, he had unbelievable numbers. He was a top 5, top 6 quarterback by most measures before the injury. And then after the injury, his completion percentage went down by like 12 points. QB rating went down by about 35 points. I mean, the numbers are stark. It was obviously hinging on the injury. I mean, he had 5 interceptions in 12 games before the injury, 5 in the 4 games after it. Numbers speak for themselves. He was doing very well. He made the offense, he made the lines with those fourth quarter comebacks, with his efficiency. He has a great relationship with Jim Bob Cooter. There are not enough quarterbacks in the game good enough to play the position as well as he does, Nate. He's going to get a huge deal. It's just a matter of when. I do believe he has done enough at this point to get that contract this year.
Yeah, I think that's always a big question. What are the alternatives? They don't have alternatives. Kirk Cousins is unlikely to hit the market. There aren't going to be other guys at number 21 in the draft order. They're not going to be able to take Mitch Trubinsky or a Deshaun Kaiser kind of guy like that. So it's either you got to decide, is Matthew Stafford a franchise quarterback? They've had a long time to evaluate that, and especially under Jim Bob Cooter, I think there's enough evidence there for that.
Even if they had one of those top picks, there's no guarantees they would get a quarterback who's better. If you look at the history of the first round, even draft picks of any variety with quarterback, it's a complete crapshoot. I mean, look at last year. I mean, Carson Wentz played real well, but Jared Goff struggled, and we'll see how he does in LA. I mean, it's just a crapshoot. Look at the list of first-round quarterbacks. You have guys like Brandon Weeden, guys like Johnny Manziel, total flameouts. There's no guarantee. You have a guarantee in Stafford. He's a hell of a quarterback. He's got a great arm. He's a good leader. He does everything you could want out of a franchise quarterback besides win playoff games. But drafting a new quarterback or signing a new quarterback does not guarantee you a playoff win. Look at the guy. I mean, 81 quarterbacks have been taken since Stafford in 2009. 5 have won playoff games. It's not just about the quarterback. It's about the team. That's the thing the Lions need to address.
Yeah, get the team good enough to win with the quarterback in the playoffs and go from there.
That's what we got for today. For Nate, I'm Kyle. We're MLive. Keep it right here.